do this. To a broken world. I didn't think I was going to stream today. I didn't know I was going to stream today. I couldn't even fathom that I was going to stream today. Not because it's not something I believe in. Not because it's something that I think is bad. But because I needed to create distance. Because if we don't create distance from something, our lens is tainted, either too positively or too negatively. That's just how the world works. And I had realized that I had created a lens for myself, which is correct, but it made me view things too strongly in one direction. And I realized that it was starting to affect my behavior positively. I was fighting back against the things that are causing us problems in this world, in every single thing in our life. And it was going really well. But I realized that it was starting to affect the next things that I was doing. So when I'm fighting against the things that are trying to suppress us or cause us problems, while having the lens of understanding how the world operates and the solutions to do that is a good thing. But what I realized is that, for example, I'm a designer. I create video games. I create music. I create my own experiences in games that I already are existing. I write stories. I sing songs. I can make my own lyrics from songs that are already existing. I just need an instrumental thing. I can cook without recipes, bake without recipes, right? Like I'm a creator. I'm a designer. I view things from that angle. Yet what I was starting to realize is that then I was viewing each individual thing through that lens. So then I created distance. That's why I didn't know when I was going to stream it. So then I started doing other things, and I started focusing more on my creations. I started focusing more on my designs, and I was just pushing away my desire to add one sentence to this world narrative of what I'm going to talk about or what I'm going to explain. And things got better. I got extremely positive. I realized I'm like, wow, I mean, I just don't really care anymore if things change out there at all. The outside world doesn't mean anything to me anymore. Yet, of course, I would want it to be better, but it's not the world that I believe in. It's not the world that is representation of who I am. Thus, I refuse to partake in it. And we all need to get to that. Until it becomes the world that we believe in, we should never operate in it. So I just started doing my own things. I just started creating. I just started developing. I just started designing. I just started doing all my positives, and things were good. And then I was realizing that slowly, I could feel corruption tendrils starting to sink into me. And I couldn't really understand why. Like, there's some obvious ones around me that I've basically completely unplugged, just so people are aware. When I stream, this is the only time I'm ever even close to anything that can present information to me that I don't self-source. Do we all understand? I don't allow anything random anymore to present information to me. Do you guys understand what that means? It means that if you use social media, if you use anything that has anything random, you don't know what's going to appear next. I'm saying that I've eliminated 100% of those things. Do you guys get what that means? That means that there's no way that there's literally a 0% possibility that I should ever be able to get corrupted anymore, because if I'm only doing my self-sourced positives that have fixed information, that are all positive paths, that means, and I've completely blocked and prevented something around me that is always trying to bait me to dark consumption through interactions. So that means that I'm in my own little bubble. I'm completely protected. It should be completely impossible for corruption to ever set in. And yet, they always find ways. I'm saying if you guys go back and watch my streams and my posts, read my posts and watch my videos, Star Diplomat on YouTube or on LinkedIn, yes, they fabricate our dreams. Yes, they insert mental thoughts directly while we're consuming. Like, read a book right now, guys, and the thoughts that they start populating into your head as you're reading it is them. That's just the entities that control this world. They populate the thoughts. They populate what we should say. They populate what they think, and they do a 1 + 2 + 3. They're like, hey, gray mug, bread. And then you're like, oh, I guess now I'm thinking about gray mugs and bread. You guys get it? That's what they do, and they build up our mental world, and that's where we get stuck in. So I understand all that stuff. Like, I could lay in bed and I literally laugh with them because they're just inserting stuff into my head without me doing anything. And this is their response if you block all information, because it means that they can't do anything anymore. So what ends up happening next is that if you refuse, if you fight back, do you guys get it? That means that every time they try to season you and present information, and you can just deviate the memory. I'm giving you guys all advanced tactics. So if right now they tell me Final Fantasy VIII, it's a video game that I used to play, and I say, no, Final Fantasy VII. Because you can then explore Final Fantasy VIII. Do you explore Squall and Griever the Necklace, your Shepherd Talisman, or do you explore Final Fantasy VII, Cloud and Freedom, defeating Sephiroth today? Do you guys get it? If you don't know those games, those are just characters in little cities and stuff in those stories. Whatever story or movies or stuff that you guys enjoy, think of it like that. It's a 1 + 2 + 3, so it's like you can even visualize and conceptualize a world of these fantasy worlds. And they do that to us while we're just silent, or when we're consuming something, and they build up our mental world, and that's how they can start corrupting us. So I'm saying I've completely defeated that. I recognize when it's happening, it's always going to be annoying. It always will annoy me. But now I laugh at it. I laugh at it because I see immediately when it's them. Once you get to this level, you recognize every single thought that's you and every single thing that's them. Yes, unfortunately, they have direct access to our brain. That's just reality. The sooner you all come to accept that and explore that and realize that those voices that are populated into your head is not you, then all the things that they insert, those stupid, anything that's a personal reminder, just so you guys know, anything, is them. If all of a sudden you start, someone walks by and then a thought populates, that's them. Do you guys get it? That's them. That's not you. So once you realize what's them and you silence them and you can get in flow and you get them quiet, you guys get it? You're actually just operate very quietly. You now then can recognize what's actually you and what's them. And that's how it needs to get to. And once we get to that level, I'm telling you guys, there's not a lot they can do. And if you block unneeded, unnecessary information, there's nothing they can do. Yet they still try. But then when they fabricate events to present things to you, you guys see it. Do you guys get it? Because you now know, I'm like, oh wow, they're setting something up here. They're doing this over here. They're doing that over there. They're doing that. Do you guys get it? You know exactly what it's happening. If today, someone decided they're going to watch my stream, I'm like, hey, today I'm going to talk about Final Fantasy VIII and Final Fantasy VII because I know those are the two things that you don't like. And I do that intentionally because I knew today that you are going to be watching my stream. That's what they do. If you get quiet, if you silence them, if you unplug, if you stop consuming unnecessary information, if you turn off your notifications, if you don't rely on AI, if you don't, all that stuff, if you guys block, if you don't go outside anymore unnecessarily, if you do all those things, there is nothing they can do. Yes, they still try to present things, but it's so minor because then you just see it. Think of it it's one little, let's call it a flusim, but it's one little feather that just is flying by and is about to hit your head. You guys see, if you see one, you can just grab it or you can blow it away, and that's it. So that's what happens, is that when you get so quiet, you can see each and every single thing that they present. Each and every single thing that they present, and you just blow it away every single time. And you can then just create your own mental world. You're like, hey, what song am I listening to? What should I drink? Oh, water? Did I drink water when I used to visit my grandma in Germany? Yep. Oh, yeah, do you remember the mineral loss? And now you're in Germany, you can teleport it. You guys see, these are all advanced tactics. I could get lost and talk about all that stuff forever. But I want to explain to people why I got to this, because it's not easy for me to talk about that. I am convinced that modification is actually the root of all the problems. Once you break free from the initial shackles. See, modification is what allows us to break free from all the shackles. But then once we break free, they use all the same things that we used to break free to shackle us and corrupt us. Do you guys get how sad that is? We're all corrupted. We all start corrupted. We have no chance because we don't understand how this world operates. So then finally we break free. Finally we heal. Finally we understand that those voices in our heads is not us and they're all wrong and they fabricated all the bad. And then we break free and we finally can do our own thing. Because we realize, hey, there's no mistakes. We just have to modify. That wasn't a mistake. Just try again, but now you learned. That's when that happens. No, that's not a problem. And if anyone presents that tells you, oh, you're bad because of this, and they try to attach it to, hey, this is the source of the bad. Hey, the reason why you failed there is because you have a big nose, or the reason why you failed is because you eat bread. You now know that that person is either an illusion or is literally being spammed words put into their head to tell you those bad things. They are meant to be the source of your corruption. They are meant to be your poison. They're meant to be your evil. They are meant to create new negative reminders that they can permanently use, that when you're just showering or when you're just laying in bed, all of a sudden it pops up. It's like, oh, it's because you're bad because you eat bread, or you're bad because you have a big... You guys understand what I'm trying to say? To break free, to heal, you realize, oh wait, all of that was fabricated. It was made to happen, because that means that 99% of our thoughts until we break free aren't us. They're telling us what to say. They're telling us what to do. If right now you put into my head like, hey, when was the last time you masturbated to that girl? And when did you last time drink coffee? I'm like, yeah, I might actually go do those things now. And if it keeps getting repeated and keeps getting repeated and keeps getting repeated, what is going to happen? Do you guys understand? So, when you embrace the modification approach and creating your own experiences and your own limits, there's nothing they can do anymore, because now if anything presents that like that, you immediately now recognize, evil. Bad. Someone intentionally is trying to create new reminders for people right now. They're talking through suggestions. They're trying to nudge people. And they're not doing it for good. Because if it was for good, they would first try to identify what your positives are. So we get to this point where we now finally understand, wait a minute. The reason why sometimes people fabricate, like every relationship problem, every single drama that you guys have around you is them putting stupidity in other people's heads in your circle. And then most people don't understand they can just erase that mental thing by like shaking their head in terms of like, oh, look, there's a plant, and oh, there's a Q-tip, oh, and gummy bears from Germany. And you do that, 1 + 2 + 3, and then that's that. But they can't do that, so that they just get the thoughts populated into their head because they're fully corrupted. So they just do whatever makes them feel better. And they've attached that if they say those things to people or they present those things to people, they temporarily feel better, because usually it means putting someone else down or making someone else feel like they're bad. If they do those things, they feel better. They feel strong. They feel like they regain control of the narrative. They rely on things. They use sugar. They use power, they use money, they use influence, they use fame, they use likes, adoration, all those stuff. And yet there's so many of you that listen to them. They are puppets. They are slaves. They literally don't matter until they break free. They are meaningless. Yes, every single person, until they break free, is nothing but just a vessel for the things that actually control this world, invisible around us, to populate whatever they want in them. Some people used to call them NPCs, non-playable characters. They're basically AIs. They're robots that just say what gets put in their head Do you guys get it? So when you take the approach of modification, now when those things present, you laugh at them. They're never fun. But now you know, I didn't make any mistakes. I didn't make any mistakes. I didn't make a mistake here. Doesn't matter what they say. Do you guys get it? Once you understand all that, it doesn't matter what they say anymore. I can now modify whatever because I now know I can embrace strategy. So last time I failed there. See, now you silence out all the voices because it doesn't matter what anyone says because you now know that none of it is relevant. It's all meant to be either create a negative event or it's meant to disrupt your way, your methods. So you silence out all the voices and you just keep refining your own process. And you have a few strategic modifications around you that you can add, that you can bring in as necessary to respond to the variables that present. Like, wow, so let's say I'm trying to take a bite of this bread, guys. I'm like, I missed this time. Why did that happen? I'm like, oh, because I was too far away. So let's get a little closer this time. I missed again. Like, maybe I should use both hands. Oh, that worked. So getting closer and using both hands. Do you guys get it? Is that I had the option of proximity. I had the option of how many hands I use. Those are strategic options that I can modify to respond to the variables if something doesn't occur the way that I hope it does, that I know it could. That means that I already know what the outcome could be. So I know I could take a bite of the bread, but I'm not able to. I'm like, why? What's stopping me? What are the things that are stopping me? Well, you see, if you guys take the approach of modification and having strategic things and creating your own experiences, I'm like, well, you know what? I want to try to eat the bread outside when I'm interacting with other people, but I'm worried I'm going to fail. So could I practice at home with other things similar to bread? I'm like, yeah, I could. But you know what? I know I figured out that the two hands is the way. Could I just do one hand? Actually, could I just put it on my palm? It's going to make it a little more challenging, but could I do it? Yeah, I could. You guys get it? You can create your own experiences. You can create your own challenges. You can make things more difficult. You can make things even more complex. Even though then if you go outside or actually interact with anyone else or in some area that has all these variables or has like this element of competition or interaction or, oh my God, here it is. I'm outside and I have to now eat the bread. You will guarantee succeed because you created even more challenging situations for yourself from the get-go. Do you guys get it? So then all of a sudden, when they present their own challenging version of something, I think Forspoken, the bird, or those enemies, that path, I just was adding some positives for myself when I re-listened to this. You're already farther ahead than what the developers or the designer of whatever you're experiencing intended. If I didn't intend for you to learn a lesson until, let's say, I'm just going to use age. Age doesn't matter. Just so you guys know, age and numbers of experience mean nothing. If I didn't get these experiences until I was 45, that means, well, I'm like, oh, well, if you're 33, there's 34. There's no way you could know. But wait, you do know. How do you know? How do you know all that? You're supposed to only be able, you're only given permission, you're only given access to the room that has the lesson where you could learn these things when you're 45. The key that opens that door isn't given to you until you're 45 or until you have $1 million or until you guys understand that's how the world operates. They prevent the lessons from each and every single one of us until they decide we are ready to learn it. But first, they want to make sure that we have a guaranteed failure. Because if we have the guaranteed failure first, they can use that event and then they can bring all their puppets, their slaves, that they insert slideshows into their head and they tell them, now reinforce, 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 reinforce. And they say, oh, you failed because you're not 45. You failed because you're not 45. You suck because you don't have $1 million. And they create the insecurities, the fears, the hatreds, all those things like that. That's how it's done. So if you know how to modify and always have strategic options available, and you know how to quiet everything, you know how to block everything, you know how to unplug so that you don't listen to anything anymore, so you don't let anything random present a path for you, because that's really what every social media website is, just so you guys know. They present paths for you, 1 + 2 + 3 + 4, and they take us on a journey and we end up somewhere. Doesn't mean it's always for bad, but then, oh, now I feel good. They presented all these goods. Well, now I'm going to go do that. They presented that I should get some gummy bears today. I'm like, yeah, let's go get some gummy bears now. Do we understand? So if you remove all those things, and you have now strategic modifications available to you, that you can respond to any variable that presents, I didn't succeed that time. Well, what can I modify? Well, what can I modify? Well, what can I modify? And then you know that any reinforcement that appears that's external, if it's related to your loss or if it's related to a victory, is completely 100% irrelevant. Any reinforcement that appears related to a victory or a loss, if it's external, is 100% irrelevant. It's meant to manipulate their story and their path. Because if they can install a permanent thing and you've, oh wow, you're a really good streamer. You explain things in such a calm, quiet voice. We really like that. Do you guys get it? Then it means that at any point, if I take this approach that I'm taking today to defeat Sephiroth, that I would not choose to communicate this knowledge this way, because I'm going to be like, wait. The thought would populate into my head that someone says, remember, you're a really good, quiet, calm streamer. You explain things really well like that. And then I'm going to deviate my methods. Do we all understand? Because then I'm now listening to their feedback intentionally. And then every time you ever deviate, every time you ever modify, those thoughts populate into your head. You guys see? So once you defeat all that, you take away, you create your own little bubble, your own arc, you silence everything, you break all those stuff. You never listen to any of them because you now know it's wrong. Because I'm telling you guys, if they're not fully 100% healed and on a positive path of light, of exploration, it means that 9 out of 10 things that populate into their head is literally being, it's like if I'm writing a piece of paper and then handing it to you, I'm like, read what this paper says. Think of it like you're a hostage. You got captured. You're a prisoner of war. And they just make you read a paper in front of a camera recording. That is what every single human being around you is. If they're causing problems, if you have any problems in your relationships, if you have problems at work, if you have problems in your friend group, if you have problems with anything, it's because they're literally just reading the piece of paper that's being handed to them. They do whatever is put in front of their eyes. Do you guys understand? They have no control over their mental world. They don't even know why they do what they do. They are puppets. They are slaves. Why do you think I've been fighting to break them free, but now I've given up on that? There is no saving them. We must leave them behind. Until they finally realize, when everyone else has moved on, and everyone else has climbed further, and everyone else is already in a different universe, in a different world, and they're still over here, and everyone else is over here, they're like, they still care about all their little dramas and all their minor problems, and we're over here, and they're like, why did everyone leave us? What's going on? And then when they have that moment, and we can finally snap them out of it and pull them out of their prison, then we can heal them and guide them and teach them. So as you guys can see, modification is the answer. It protects us. If we can now create our own experiences, and I can learn everything I need to learn about anything that I'm trying to achieve. Remember, I'm not going to get lost here, but they install what matters to us, what we need to achieve. They install that. So for myself, like let's say, like getting the beautiful girl, daughter of the Grand Summoner, or something of that nature. And I don't know, guys, like Carrie, black, perfection. wait. They installed that into us. And now I'm going to be like, well, how can I achieve that? And let's say I try and I fail. Normally, that's enough to destroy any one of us. Because then the army of reinforcement of the slaves, the puppets, arrives. So now if you've destroyed all that, if you destroyed the army of reinforcement and of slaves that arrive, that just can't control their mental world, and they say whatever populates into their head, well, then what's next? Well, now we understand modification. Now we understand how to modify things on demand, just so you guys know. Anytime something presents, you can now modify. You're like, well, that happened last time. That happened last time. Why did I fail that time? What options do I have available to me? What strategic modifications can I do? And you guys see, it's not based on numbers. It's not based on tools, unless that's the only thing that can give us utility. Ideally, it's decision-making processes that we can do. Well, all right, last time when I did that happened. What can I do differently decision-making wise? Because you guys see, if we can figure that out, we never have to respond with numbers, or we never have to respond with tools. If you prevent or avoid completely, do you guys get it? So most of us, when we get to the strategic modification part, we get tempted and we get baited to use numbers, reliance, tools, the easy, the solution, the answer to everything. Something that solves it. Just so you guys know, for a little positive for myself, but I think every single person knows this, like to get like the girl, they're like, well, you need to shower her with gifts and money and luxuries. And I'm telling you guys, it works. But is there other ways? Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? If you had strategic options available to you, would you need to do those things? Every single thing in life works that way. Every single thing. Yet we are told and we are presented overtly what the answer is, or either we learned it from others because we didn't unplug yet, we didn't get quiet, so it means we could listen to other people's suggestions. So they're like, when you get to that part, guys, when you get to the part where you need to defeat the dark angel Sephiroth or Kuja, make sure you use the holy blade that embraces the heavens. It does so much damage, and you're like, I didn't even know that, but well, now I know. So you guys get it. When you get to that location, when you get to that battle, when you get to that encounter, when you get to that situation to overcome, you now know I should use the holy blade from the heavens. Regardless if you do or not, you now know that it pops up into your head. You guys see, it starts modifying our path. It starts modifying our approach. It starts modifying how we walk. Because we now know, we might have even watched a video of someone overcoming something, or read a guide, or something of that nature. And it tells everyone, well, if you use this, you win very easily. There's nothing the enemy can do, or nothing that challenging situation to overcome. It's just, you win. Hey, if you take the girl to a fancy restaurant and do this and a trip and all this stuff, she'll probably just say yes to everything. Oh wow, yeah, because we made sure that every single girl has destroyed her self-esteem, and that we've attached it to she needs to have a relationship to have any. So if you give her those things, she's gonna then feel more worthy, because we may also, you guys get it what I'm trying to say? If they install that into all the girls, well, guess what? Then you can create exactly what all the guys have to do, because you create the solution by installing the vulnerability in all the rest. They've installed the vulnerability in 99% of girls, that they need a relationship, and that their worth comes from like the money, what their resources have, like all that. You guys got all those things got installed in all of you, which means that the solution on how to court them or get them is the same. It's easy, unless there was a deviation that happened throughout their life, which for 9 out of 10 didn't happen. But you guys see, it is possible to defeat it if you have strategic modifications available. Be like, well, what if, I'm not going to talk more about the girl thing, but I just want people to understand, like, that's how it's done. I'm just trying to ground it. If you know the best solution, if you know the answer, if you know the overpowered, if you know what works, if you know what is possible, well, you guys see, that's how we all first get corrupted. Even if we already got quiet, right? You guys get, if we already got quiet and we destroyed all the false voices and we just did our own thing, what's going to happen then is the next corruption is do the best thing. Do the best thing. The solution. The easy. No problems. Because we've had so many problems our entire life. 34 years misery and suffering and torture. I just want one day without problems. Does that sound familiar, guys? Like any of your guys' mental world? Well, what could remove those problems from me? Money? AI? And so forth and so forth. Even in video games, do you guys get it? There's an equivalent of it. Like, I've been having so many issues with this encounter or this challenge or this puzzle. They're like, well, here's the easy mode. Or, hey, you can pay some money and you can get this. Or, hey, there's that one item that literally makes it so you can't even, your character can't lose. Do you guys get it? That it's everywhere now. It's not, people think it's a good thing. That's the worst thing that can be possibly presented. To have any of those things even available to us is the worst thing possible, because 99% of us will then choose to use so the moment problems start happening. Because if we finally overcame, let's say we had lack of belief in ourselves, or we just finally healed and we learned all of the bad stuff that they put into our head is wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. And now we believe, now we have confidence, now we walk with certainty. You guys get it? That what that does is guarantees, I guarantee 99% of you, any of you who have actually healed, now have become so stubborn against anything that could potentially unheal you again. Do you all understand? If you finally healed and you've identified the sources that they used, you will never allow it to happen again. And that's the correct play. But what does that mean? It means that if a new encounter presents itself, a new challenge presents itself, and situations begin happening again, and all of a sudden bad is starting to present, or you're starting to feel worse, what if those variables are not even present? Do you guys get what I'm trying to say here? Is that then 99% of us are going to choose, well, you know what? Let's just make it easier for now. There's no reason. Why are we making it so challenging? Why are we making it so complicated? Why are we causing so, like, it doesn't have to be this way. Like, you know what? Here, let's just pay some money. Let's just hire someone, or let's just get that product, or let's just get that tool, or let's just do this. Like, what's the problem, guys? I'm like, you really, like, do you remember like a year ago how bad it was? Like, do you really want to go? Oh yeah, you're right. When we lose things, we make sure we'll never lose them again. Ever. And usually, that means that we felt that maybe the reason why we lost them was because we didn't have enough of something. So, if they install that into us correctly, they can now present a new situation where they're like, ooh, problems are happening. And you're like, all right, it's okay. We're healed. We got this. We know how to handle things. All right, we handle it like this. We handle it like this. We handle it like this. And everything's good at first. But then all of a sudden, complications happen. And the option of strategic modifications are available to us. But we have access. We have access to easy. We have access to a solution. For most people, it's going to be something related to money. But in video games that I just to make it positive for myself, like I think of it like Phantasy Star Online. They literally give you the best armor or weapons, or one of the best. Like, think of it like there's 10 that you can get, and they give you like the 8th or 9th one at the halfway point of the game, and you're like, why? Why are you giving us that? You're letting us skip steps. Like everything's just gonna be a joke now. You have to intentionally choose not to use those things, or else everything is gonna be completely trivialized. Because the balance is completely off. So for most of us, once we have access to those things, everything gets destroyed. Do we get it? Because if we didn't have access to those things, we wouldn't use them. We would have, if right now I'm like, well, hey, you have to overcome this dark angel, Sephiroth or Kuja, and you only have 1 piece of bread and 2 waters. Good luck. You're like, what? I mean, I heard that people needed 25 breads and 80 waters, and you're only giving me 2 and 1 bread? What? Think of it like that, guys, is that it doesn't even seem possible. And then you might try, and you just lose immediately. And there's just problems and mistakes, and like I said, the moment you make the mistake, all of a sudden the army of reinforcement arises, like, oh, you suck, yo, you can't, I'm so much better. And you're like, oh. And then the moment that happens again, you're like, I know not to listen. All of a sudden, think of it like a little pop-up appears, bing, and says, hey, would you like to use the water bread armor upgrade? And you're like, what is that? It'll give you 100 of each. You're like, whoa. Whoa. I read that you could win with like 80. It's like 100 of each. Ding. All right, bring it on, Kuja and Sephiroth Dark Angels. Things like the attacks are just bouncing off you. Bring, 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 bring. We got this. Oh, look, we're making progress. You see more of the encounter. You see more of something that you're trying to achieve, right? For myself, like, let's say, like, you're having more experiences with the girl. You're having more experiences with the girl. I'm like, wow, so money really does solve it. I'm getting further. I'm getting further. Oh, wow, I'm getting more likes. I'm getting more adoration. I'm getting more praise. Like, wow, money really does solve it. Wow, AI really does solve it. And we win. We achieve. I'm like, wow, that's kind of boring. That's kind of easy. Yet we forget that. But at the same time, then someone shows up, an external shows up, and they overtly reinforce in us, you're so good. We're so proud of you. You're the best. Wow, no one has ever overcome this encounter as fast as you did. You're so good. Wow. And most of us, remember, we had just gotten attacked. We had a negative presented, right? So that, and then we lost. And we were starting to face some challenges, some difficulty. So we didn't want to repeat that. So then all of a sudden now we're like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. And someone else is saying that, like, yeah, I am. We have forgotten that we shouldn't listen to either the positive or the negative. We had forgotten. Because we finally achieved. Do you guys understand? We had finally achieved. And then some difficulty was starting to present, some bad was starting to present. And then we had now access. We had now access, either through money, tools, resources, whatever it is, to solve it again. Easy. But this time, we didn't achieve because we healed. This time we didn't achieve because we're good. This time we didn't achieve because we learned. It's because we relied on just whatever just solves it. We forget that, each and every one of us. So now, they start attaching that the reason why we won, that the reason why we're good, that we should keep going is to this resource, to this tool, to this skill, to this whatever is the answer. And what it ends up doing is it makes it become the answer. It makes it become the answer. What did I tell you guys? If I can create from day one the variables in everything that's present around me, if I'm the designer of this world or a game or whatever, or a book, I can create the variables in the characters. Which means that I can ensure that the solution that I'm going to create, that I want it to be the thing that's the free win, but it's the thing that we use to corrupt everyone. But they'll never learn, because then they'll just do whatever populates in their head, because now they're corrupted by it. Because you guys get it, once you win, it sets the line of what our expectation is. Doesn't mean we have deviation, but if it deviates too much, you're like, we are losing way too much. This is not okay. All right, boop, 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 boop. You just start hitting up with a hammer, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, now we're up here again. Yeah. But what could give us that boost? Well, normally, what I'm going to get back to is strategic modifications. But what they do, this is all the second play that they do. This is where most of us get caught, is that they corrupt us, because now we're like, oh, I need more of that resource. I need that tool again. I need that ability, and I need the answer. Whatever is the answer, either someone overtly told us or maybe we figured it out, but we're like, I feel like it completely negates the entire encounter. It's like it solves everything. It makes it too simple. Like it takes away the strategy behind it. I'm like, was that really intended? That's the answer? Like, they created so many things. They crafted such an encounter. For myself, I'm thinking about the Deathbird right now in Elden Ring, but it has so many things that you have to deal with at range. But if you just are right underneath it, like, you can almost negate a lot of the things. And if you use the answer, which is the holy blade from the heavens, it doesn't have enough health, so you can just burst it down. What does that mean? It means that you can just heal through the damage. You can ignore everything. And yet, I'm saying that if you don't do those things, you realize, like, holy crap, this is actually extremely complex. It has answers to the majority of things that the player, or like, think of us as a human, can do to solve something. Every time we try one approach, it has a solution, it has an answer, it has something that it can do to stop us or fight back against that. I'm like, now as I'm saying this, I'm like, it's extremely well designed, and yet 99% of people, including my old version, never even realized that. And it's because we all went for the answer. And before we knew it, we just cared about the victory. We just cared about the speed. We just cared about the result. We just cared about the reward. What am I going to get from getting this? Oh, cool, a new weapon. Oh, cool, a reward. So that's how it happens to all of us. Because where we get caught, even if we are super aware of it, happens to every single person. If they actually broke free from the initial thing of, like, the things that prevented them from achieving, like the poisons, the insecurities, the fears, the hatreds, all that stuff, they broke free, and now they're starting to walk forward. Now they achieved, but then they want to keep achieving. then even if they didn't achieve with the tool or resources, they're going to try to create a situation. They literally, this is what they do. They try to create situations nonstop. They fabricate it over and over again, just so you guys know, over and over again. They keep creating more problems. They create more difficulties. They create more challenges. They create more problems for you. They start destroying things. They start taking things from you. They start ruining things. They start fabricate fake events. They're actually literally fake. You can ignore them. And all they are is meant to drain you from things, drain your resources, or make you think that the only solution is the answer. Whatever they craft it as the answer. It's like, well, now you don't have this, now you don't have this, now you don't have this, now you don't have this. What are you gonna do? Well, if all you have left is, well, money. Well, I don't have money. Oh, okay. Well, then you need to go on a journey and a climb to get money, because it's the answer. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? All of you think that you care about money, AI, all these things that they created for us as the answer. And I'm saying they made it happen. Because they fabricate enough situations in your life to prevent you from achieving the things you want, or you got it once and then you got it by using the answer, or someone else got it faster or easier by using the answer and you didn't. So then you're like, and now you want to try again, and you're going to keep suffering problems and problems and problems until you use the answer. And if you even use it for 1 second and all of a sudden things get better, you're like, maybe the answer really is the solution. No, let's try again without it. Bad. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, let's try to answer again. I'm like, whoa, you guys get it. I can just choose at any point when to just go boost you up. If the moment you use what I want you to use. And if at any point you're not using what I want you to use, using what I want. Do you guys get it? And how could you grade yourself like that? Through some external metric. Something that we're achieving, something that we're trying to achieve. Oh, I got more likes, I got more followers, I got more comments, I got more money, I got more sales, I got more victories in the video games, I got more loot. It's not easy to realize that they created the answers. It's not easy to realize that. It's actually horrific, because it's why I have such a strong aversion towards money and AI, because I realize it's the root of all the problems. And yet before, I was someone who believed in those things. I never really fully believed in AI, but I believed in technology to a level that was completely different to who I am now. I'm telling all of you is that it's not an accident, because I was rewarded when I used those things. It solved my problems. It made things that I was struggling with go away. And I realized, I'm like, well, yeah, I might have not mastered some things, but it doesn't really matter, because I have access to this tool everywhere. I mean, think of it like back in the day when people were like, you're not going to have a calculator with you forever. You need to learn math. And now everyone has a phone. Do you guys understand? It's that analogy, but with everything in life that they create as the answer. And for most of us, it's money and AI. But where we all fall is we're failing, we're losing, and we finally healed and overcame something and achieved, and we never want to experience the bad again. So then we just use things to make sure that we will never experience the bad again. Do you guys get it? We will never tolerate it, and that's the correct play. But what does that mean is that if they create problems everywhere, well, then you might go back to the solution. You might go back to the answer, because you're like, oh my gosh, Things are bad, 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 bad. Oh, answer. Good. And then, when you did use the answer, all of a sudden, you will get reinforced positively. And most of us get so little positive reinforcement that at any point we get that. We're like, whoa, I must have done something right. Yet all they're doing is trying to tell you exactly what they want you to do again. It doesn't matter. Do you guys get it? Because what you're going to realize, if you really unplug, if you really get quiet, if you don't let anything random create paths for you, and the moment you see them start inserting the mental thoughts into your head, whenever you're doing something or consuming your own things, and you interrupt them, deviate them, what you guys are going to realize is that you just believe in yourself. You know your capability. You know you're good. And if you know you haven't figured out something yet, you know how to. And you take it one step at a time, and you're always modifying strategically. So you guys see, like, if any external presents like that, you might even laugh at it. You're like, huh, old version of me would have been like, whoa. You can even say things like that, but you're like, yeah, this means nothing. If anything, you look at it now with disdain, and you're like, you distrust. You're like, danger, danger, because you know how that's what they do. Do you guys understand what the climb actually is? So then we take a step back, because that's where 9 out of 10 of you fall, is when they force you to use the answer. They try to force you to use the answer by creating so many bad things around you. And they keep escalating. They keep escalating if you ever deviate from it. And like I said, you guys now know. I don't have to repeat it. They keep escalating until you do, and then you do, and then you win. And then you get reinforced. I'm like, did you really need it? Could you have figured it out a different way? And that's for everything, guys. And the answer is yes. This is where, if you resist that, if you realize, wait, how do I defeat that? I need to strategically modify every attempt. I'm like, all right, so we're having all these issues. But what can we do? Well, there's a dragon that always does this. It does like this breath attack of rot. And if it touches me, I just die in one hit. Oh, there's like a little ledge to the left made of rocks. If I crouch there, wait, it completely blocks the dragon breath attack completely. But it tries to then move me away from that area so that I can't use that to negate its attack. Because they wanted me to, let's say there was like an item that if I used it on my on my sword, I could defeat the dragon very quickly. And that's the answer. Let's just call it like that. That's the answer. And they wanted me to do that. But I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. Or use the horse. That's really what the answer was. The horse. If you have the horse, you can completely ride around the dragon and make it your plaything, your toy. Beast Horse, the dragon. Whenever people hear me do that, it's because I'm getting attacked. So I have to mentally interrupt and deviate what they're inserting directly into my head, just so people are aware. Like you said, you guys see, like, it's easy once you understand what's you and what's not. And then when you're unplugged, it's just this one little feather that shows up from Sephiroth, the dark feather. And you go, and that's it. You guys get it? But most of you can't do that. That's what happens to everyone. Like, they start getting attacked, they start experiencing those bads, and then they start feeling worse, and like, I need my solution, I need my answers, I need my gummy bears, I need my German cake, my Stollen. And I'm telling you guys, when you consume those things, or when you use those things, you get reinforced. You temporarily feel better. That's how they start creating reliance. Do you guys see now what you tolerate is less. Now what you tolerate is less. Because well, if you ever experience, remember what I said, guys. Once you overcome something, or once you heal something, you don't tolerate it anymore. It's just that's not even me trying to be complicated or problematic. I'm just saying that's actually what being healed is. Because once you understand something, and it's solved, you'll never tolerate it again. If it's something happens related to it, and it was through other things that happen, you're not gonna be happy about it, but you're like, fine. But you will never allow it to happen if you spot it even from a mile away. It doesn't matter what it is, guys. Do you guys get it? Each and every one of us has this. All of us have this. In everything. You can even see it in like small things that you guys experience. It could be technical difficulties. Do you guys get it? Once you understand how to solve it, if you're experiencing it again, you're not going to be tolerant of it. That is how life operates. So they weaponize that, because then they start bombarding you with it, similar problems or other things, and they want you just to use the best. They want you to use the solution. They want you to use the answer that have already been preemptively creating events telling you this is the answer, this is the answer, this is the answer, this is the answer, this is the answer. So then you will use it. So then you will use it. That is the only thing they want. All right. So that's that stage. It's pretty freaking simple. Don't use the answer. Don't use the best thing. But how do we defeat that? Well, we're gonna lose. Do you guys get it? Like, that's not fun. It's especially when most of us are just so beat up from all those mental reminders now that you guys should be aware are not you, that populate as we're consuming things or just randomly, and they beat us up. I'm telling you guys, it's just relentless. Hopefully you guys don't experience what I do. I'm telling you guys, I get probably like 5,000 a day, just negatives nonstop. But it's so easy to just go, but it's still not fun. So it starts consuming us. It starts making us less inclined to be positive, to be helpful, to be caring, to want to try, to want to figure things out, to want to explore. We start now wanting to just solve the pain, eliminate the problem. Because what actually makes us happier is removing bad. The less bad that's present, the happier we are. Just so you guys understand, it's that simple. The less bad that is present, the happier we are. There's nothing else to it. Happiness has more to do with less bad than the positive path. I'm telling you guys, because you can have an amazing positive path, but if you start presenting some bads through anything, your happiness is gonna tank so fast. That's why do you think I see a lot of you guys, you buy these expensive resort trips or like vacations and everything's, you're gonna be like, this is gonna be the best trip ever, it's gonna make it all worth it, and it's first so good, but then slowly throughout the trip there's things presenting that you don't control that are negatives, and all of a sudden it doesn't matter how positive everything was, things start going down, and you're like, this is an amazing thing, but you guys get it, because now bads are present, and that's just how it is. All right, so how can we fight back? Strategic modification. Like, so this time I did that and I lost here. What can I do? What could I try? What can I modify? Could I change like this item? Could I let's say in the summertime I do like a cartwheel or a roll, or do I embrace like my Batman in the mercado and do like a inspiring speech to everyone, or do I become the Dark Knight, the sun, Titus metal poster? Oh, so you see, like what I did there, guys, is a mental scramble. I'm like, oh, so when they do the attack, can I do this? So you see, like, that's a strategic modification. I learned that. I'm like, so if I do that, I might not actually have to rely on like something, the solution to everything. For example, like, hey, browsing extremely beautiful girl pictures, bikinis and dresses and things of that nature. Like, I might not need that level of positive injection to temporarily feel better. I could just mentally scramble myself to fight back against what they're doing. Do you guys see, like, that's a strategic modification. That's a strategic modification. And yet that's present for each and every single one of us in every single thing that we do. Every single activity, just so you guys know, from harmless things to serious things, from how we write a story, from how I do my stream, from how we even listen to music, from how I eat my food, from how I drink, how I design a video game, from how I play my video games, from how I balance my video games, from, do you guys get it? I could go on and on and on. Every single activity that we do has this. Most of them, though, are not tuned. Tuning is the difficulty, the balance versus what we have versus what we're experiencing. There's a clash. And usually think of it like in numbers. If you have 60 and they have 40, you win. Okay, guys? That's the tuning. But what if it's tuned around, it's 65 and you only have 60? Well, that means if there's a direct clash, you lose. So then you are forced into a strategic modification situation. That's what tuning is, okay, guys? So I'm saying the majority of things in this world are undertuned. The majority of things in this world are undertuned. We can do the majority of activities around us, our daily activities, without even thinking. That's why they do that intentionally, because when we're not thinking, they can just present the thoughts into our heads to start manipulating us. I think of it for myself. It's something that I brought back because they had corrupted it. It's Dance Dance Revolution. It's dancing through a video game, because it's something that I enjoy dancing, but I enjoy it more through a game. It's just who I am. And I had already mastered it and figured it out years ago. But when I'm now doing it, if I'm listening to the music and the lyrical songs, because lyrics are dangerous, each lyric is a nudge, and they start teleporting us to try to bring us back to remind us of our past while we're listening to it. Well, what I could end up doing, what I realized is that actually, if I don't dance or hit the arrows in that video game, like how I'm supposed to move my feet when during the song, the way that I had already mastered or learned when I first mastered that activity, that I'm protected mentally from their negative mental attacks that populate into my head, because I now have to refocus on, like, wait, normally I would use my left foot there to get that arrow. If I'm now using my right foot, do you guys like think of it like you like flip it completely upside down, and like you're like, whoa, how I actually have to focus there. Like my leg feels weird whenever I do that. It actually protects us when we do that, guys, because it's so undertuned now for us. And yet I'm telling you, that activity, if anyone, like, you guys could search it, type Dance Dance Revolution expert, and just type that and watch the arrows and think of it like that's, you have to move your feet for every one. Like, it's actually not easy. It requires a lot of focus and practice, especially if you want to get all the arrows correctly. Yet I'm saying now the tuning for me is so low because it's so easy. It's so repeated. I don't even have to really focus or think. I can listen to my own stream talks while doing it and get 95% of the arrows, but actually I play better because their mental negative attacks are completely blocked. Most of them, because I'm instead listening to my own voice. Yet, what if I wanted to listen to the music that the game has? You guys get it? But when I do, it's so much more, I'm so much more vulnerable. But then I'm like, wait a minute, if I'm like moving my hands, or if I'm deviating the best way of how to do so, I'm intentionally choosing to play that game or do that dance the wrong way or the least efficient way, I'm actually more protected. Most people can't even conceptualize that. They wouldn't even consider doing that. It would be blasphemy for them. They can barely win as is. They're like, why would you ever make things more challenging? Why would you ever make things more complicated? Because it protects us. But then we have strategic modifications. Oh, now there's actually I chose to dance a song that's extremely challenging. Oh, now I can do the way that I know. Do you guys get it? If the tuning is at 99 out of 100, I'm like, oh, now I need to use everything I have. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? If the balance is actually correct, if the balance is really there and it's forcing us to use everything that we have, well then, it's easy. Then you will do what you do. You use all your knowledge, use all your answers. You guys see, then you don't even need one answer. There's not one tool. You use a culmination of everything of who you are, everything you've learned, everything you've mastered. And you see, that's completely different than like, oh, if you use, I'm like, I can't solve this one song no matter what. I can't figure out how to dance it. I just always get a game over. Well, I try all my methods and they don't work. Oh, but you didn't try the solution. You have to buy this like metal mat that they sell for $150. You'll be able to beat the thing because everyone else who's beat it has that. Oh, okay. And then you buy it and you win. But you're like, did I win because of that? I don't know, but I won. Barely, but I won. Huh. You guys see, that's what they make us do. Like, I'm like, it wasn't that, but they make us think that that's the solution, that's the answer. And it doesn't mean that it doesn't help. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have things that doesn't help. But what have I said? If they installed in everyone or everything, if they installed in that, let's say, this is just a hypothetical, let's say they created in that video game, Dance Dance Revolution, that if it detects that you have the metal mat that you bought, detects that you have that, it now nerfs, it makes easier that song that you're trying to overcome. They could do things like that. That's actually real in many things in life, guys. If they detect that you have that, they'll make things easier for you. I'm telling you guys, most of you don't understand why some people are winning, and I'm saying it's because they have certain things that then other people recognize those things or see those things. Things like if I have this talisman and people see it, oh, you're one of us. You're part of our clan. Okay, cool. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Alright, then it'll make things easier for you. Yet if you don't have this talisman, the Shepherd Talisman, if you like try to talk to me, I'm going to immediately blow you off. No matter what. So you see, like, if you don't have the talisman, I tune it 99 out of 100 for you. But if you have the talisman, I tune it 20 out of 100. Yet the onlookers all think that it's the same difficulty, and it's not. I'm saying that that's how the world works currently, guys. Okay? So, connected. Piece the dots together, guys. I gave you guys all the answers there. So, I realized, I'm like, actually better. Strategic modifications are better. I don't need the metal mat when I'm playing the dancing game. I could change my approach. I could like move my hands, I can hold my arm, I can listen to my stream talks, I can do you guys get it? Like, those are strategic modifications. And they work. They work. Because I'm like, that happened this time. How can I prevent that? Oh, well, have I tried this? Have I tried this? Have I tried this? Do you guys see? It makes it become an exploration. It makes it become an experiment. It makes it become a journey, an adventure, a story. And you're not worried about the outcome anymore. You're not worried if bad happens. You're not worried if you're gonna fail. You're not worried if, it didn't work out. Like, you don't care about the outcome. You don't care about the grade. You don't care about the result. None of those things matter anymore because you know it's inevitable. You're gonna get there eventually. It's just, you're learning, you're figuring it out, you're responding to variables, and you're also then having fun with it. You're trying to make things more challenging. You're trying to make things more complicated. You're like, well, could I try learning different ways? I won't forget my original ways. I do know that if I stop doing them completely, I'll have to boost them up every so often to remember them, just to bring them back to recency. But I can do all my ways. And you realize that once it's a little path starts, right? Think of like a little cloud sword with materia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all of a sudden you're back. You're like, okay, I got this again. I know how to do this. Yeah. I'm back. And that's real, guys. For most people, they call it warm up, but really, it's just starting a path. It's just starting a path for ourselves to just get back into the groove of things for most of us. But if you actually fully understand something and you know how to respond strategically to anything that presents, what you guys are going to realize, it's the craziest thing. You don't actually need a path anymore. I think of it like that's that dancing game with the arrows, just like for anyone who might know a Guitar Hero, like it's just you can all of a sudden literally like get given the guitar or like the dance mat or just join in mid song and you can just go straight into it. And there's no warm up, no nothing. And people are like, how is that possible? And I'm like, it's because you understand. It's because you have the strategic modifications available to you. At any point, you know what to do when what everything presents. Doesn't mean that you're gonna achieve, doesn't mean that you're gonna get the best grade. Obviously, you don't even care about that. But you could just slot in anywhere at this point. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? Is that when you unlock this, when you defeat the reliance on the answer, when you defeat reliance, on the answer, and you learn how to create your own experiences and your own limits, and you always view every single thing, every failure, every mistake is like, what can we modify? What can we modify? What can we modify? What can we modify? And you keep modifying strategically, and you keep doing that. You're going to realize you guys make things more challenging. You guys balance things a little differently. You are like, ooh, well, actually, you know, this is an answer here. This is a solution. Let's say, like, for another one for myself, Forspoken, like there's a bird that flies around and shoots poison at you. And if you get poisoned, well, most people are like, well, what's the antidote? I think most of us would ask that. Well, I got poisoned. What's the antidote? I got poisoned. What's the antidote? Hey, I'm sick. What's the medicine that cures it? Do you guys get it? That's how we operate. It's just logically how we've all been built and trained. And it's a good way to think about things. But what I'm saying is, what if you're like, actually, when I get poisoned, I'm not going to use the cure. People are like, what? I'm like, yeah, because it adds complexity to the encounter, to whatever I'm trying to overcome, whatever I'm trying to solve. Like if you see the solution or the answer immediately, you're like, I'm not going to use it. Not because you see, like, if you use it, it means that the only thing that matters now is the end outcome. I'm like, well, what if I'm trying to experience this? What if I'm trying to learn this? What if I'm trying to explore this? I'm like, you know what? Let's not use that. It changes the tuning dramatically. Do you guys get it? It ups, let's say the tuning was like at 40. Now it might be at 80 just because you're expected to just use the poison cure. Oh, you got poison? Bring. You got poison? Bring. If it's a resource that is unlimited or you can easily get, what is that resource gated by? What is the antidote gated by? That's how really life actually works, guys. Antidotes, solutions, answers normally are gated by things. But what you guys are going to realize is that they've removed the gating of most things because they've just tied it to money and AI. And those tools, I'm going to stop there, but really, they removed the gating from things, guys. So the antidote is there's no gating, and you can just easily get more of it. If the poison is what adds so much difficulty to the encounter, do you guys get it that if you can just use the answer easily, well then it's just like, wow, this is actually not that difficult at all. This is like, we've overcome so many things. Why wouldn't this be more challenging? We are so capable now. We're so trained. We know how to respond to things. We know how to handle things. Why would they make, do you guys get what I'm trying to say? Like, that's life in general. It's like, we've all grown, we've learned, we've mastered, we've overcome so much. And yet, everything's just being made easier. Everything's just becoming random. We're just becoming reliant on tools. And it's because this is how they do it. Anyway. So, do you guys see, like, all of a sudden you're creating your own experience. And you're like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to use the poison cure. I'm not going to use the antidote. And it starts creating your own experience. But when that happens, it opens doors. And each door is a strategic modification. So if I don't use the poison, I'm like, okay, let's say you have health, right? I mean, just think of it logically, guys, right? Think of it as health as age. So we're 100 years old. If we reach 100, it's game over. The poison adds 1 to our age every single day. You're like, crap, I'm going to die in 100 days then if I was even 1. Think of it like that, guys, okay? So that means that you need to find out you have to handle it. Actually, you have to respond to it, because it will actually endanger you. And this is why I said, right, what we don't tolerate anymore, guys. Those are our poisons. But think like that, right? We don't cure this poison. What are we going to do? We don't use the solution. So it's like, well, now what? We're getting older. We're losing health. We're losing health. It's like, well, now what do we do? When that happens, doors present. And it's because it's not an ignorable thing. Do you guys get it? The majority of things are ignorable. But if you don't use the solution easily, that we're already known, all of a sudden something that was before ignorable is not ignorable anymore. Because I think of it like this, guys. 99% of things in this world, if you really think about it, most people are like, yeah, that's not a problem. Just throw money at it. Just throw money at it. And it solves it. And it's because the design of the world is completely broken now. But enough of that. But I want people to think about that. If you couldn't throw money at anything, any problem that you're having, anything, money is only for, let's say the only thing money allowed you to get is sugar related stuff, like gummy bears and German cakes. Nothing else, because survival costs were guaranteed. Food, all other food was guaranteed. You could even get video games and toys for free or whatever, or through some other resource. So money, the only thing money got you was sugar. Foods. Gummy bears are good. German cakes are amazing. But think about that, guys. Oh, we're having this problem. What can we do? Well, let's pay more money. Let's do this. No, money doesn't solve it anymore. Like, what? What do you mean? My entire worth is money. Oh, wait. Do you guys get it? If you don't have, if the antidote doesn't exist anymore, if you have to now strategically figure out new solutions, you guys see, you actually learn, you grow, you explore, you evolve, you create your own experiences, your own limits. And normally people are like, well, the only way you would learn that is if you're ever put in a room where you have no money. 99% of the world still has. Do you guys get it? So I'm saying, but what if you created your own room that has that situation where you can learn those lessons without the punishments? So anyway, so all of a sudden, the doors start opening because the poison is ticking down. It's adding to our age, it's lowering our health. And we're like, if we don't do something soon, we're going to lose, because if, like this bird that's flying that poisoned us, if it attacks us again, let's say it attacks at plus 20 to our age, or it reduces our health by 20. Well, if the poison got us, the poison can't kill us, but it'll get us to 99, or it'll get us to 1 health. That means that any attack from the bird will defeat us in one blow. Do you guys understand that? That means that it's now an extremely lethal thing. Even if it doesn't defeat us, it now makes it so that any single thing that is now presented to us is going to cause us a game over, make us tip the scale of balance to now we're darkness, we're consumed, we're corrupted, we won't tolerate anything, we're now going to attack everything, we're going to cause problems, we're going to just want to now win, we now will only care about the external outcome, we now are going to get greedy, we're now going to be like only about praise, money, adoration, all this stuff, because that's what happens. We all get poisoned. They attached the cure to something, so we either use it, but if we refuse to use it, then none of us know how to respond strategically. So then if any other bad presents, it's game over, because we never healed it. So what I'm saying is that, you see, now you can create doors for yourself. If you intentionally choose not to heal the poison, even though you know you can, you have it right there. It's just, I just gotta take a sip of this water. I'm gonna not drink right now. Some water, I'm gonna wait. But you could. Do you guys get it? You could. You have the solution, but you're not going to use it. So now, which doors do you walk through? You're like, well, what can I do? I'm like, oh, there's something here that says if I eat this piece of bread, the poison damage will be reduced by 90%. Wow, that's true. if I have like an animal companion around me, the poison damage is slowed by 300%. Doesn't mean it's removed, but it's slowed. Whoa, so it means I will age slower. It means my health will lower slower. Like, whoa. And you guys understand, like, I'm trying to paint the picture here to make people realize is that in video games, usually it's like, hey, can I equip something? Like, do I have an ability that does something? Like, actually, I have an ability that like does this or does this. And you guys see, like, you start exploring, you start thinking about solutions. And let's say you try. And all of a sudden, you're like, I'm not going to try to heal the poison right away because I know there's other ways. And you lose. You're like, what did we lose to? Like, okay, how can we figure out that one? All right. And then again, you lose. You're like, okay. And then you try something else. And like, wow, all of a sudden we made so much progress. And then you almost won and then you lost. But you guys see, like, you're like, whoa. We didn't even need the poison cure. It adds so much difficulty, but wow. And it made us use these 3 different things that we modified that we thought might not even be worthwhile anymore. So that sounds great. And I'm telling you guys, that's the way. It's the solution to everything. It's the solution to everything. It makes us happier. It makes us explore. It makes us believe. It makes us go on a light path. It makes us just think that everything is possible, because then it's just, we realize it's just us. It's our contributions. It's our worth. It's our knowledge. It's our strategic modifications. We don't listen at all to any externals from anyone, positive or negative. We consume our own things. We know what we're capable of. We know why we do what we do. We know our decisions. We know why we walk. Everything is great. Do you guys understand? And we can now see evidently that it's us, because that's what it boils down to. I believe almost every single human, if not every single one, just wants to know that their contribution, that their actions are having an impact, that are the reason why something is either succeeding or not. And really, it's just they want to know it's succeeding because of them. They want to know that they're having a positive contribution. There's that inherent need in all of us. And it's almost impossible for us to ever pinpoint that or know that. And that's been intentionally crafted that way. This world is designed that way intentionally, because if they make sure that we can never be like, well, was it actually because of me? I'm like, no, you don't know that. I'm telling you guys, it's just simple as, hey, if right now I send a message to a girl, she's going to be like, well, is it because I put that because of my profile picture, because I had a dress in it? I'm like, yeah, it was actually. Or actually, it could just be because I chose a random 1 out of 10. I was like, you. Do you guys get it? Like, it's so difficult to attribute our contributions and our achievements to something when it could always just be something like that. We might be like, oh, it's because of me. But I'm like, no, it wasn't actually. So most of us wouldn't even want to know that. We'd rather just live in our own fantasy world, and there's nothing wrong with that at first, but you guys see, like, it starts poisoning us and starts corrupting us, because we start relying on those externals, like, oh, well, the reason why we succeeded is because of this, and the reason why we did this. But you see, now that's becoming the answers, becoming the solutions, becoming the thing that they're crafting as the go-to, the solution to everything. And I'm saying it's not. So when we create our own experiences and we create these limits and we create our own challenges, and then we create our own stories and we explore our way and we add our own things, and we don't always just use the solution to the answer, and we create those doors, and we have to respond strategically. Like, well, we lost here, messed up here. The girl didn't respond here, or the girl's like, wow, he actually sent me a message here. Why? And you guys see, like, we can modify each time, and to see, we'll never know 100%. But what if we get to the point where you see, like, when it comes to the other people, there's that variable. I'm like, well, actually, maybe she only responded because today she literally had people around her that said, hey, you should respond today. Do you guys get it? Like, if we go down that path, we get lost. We get completely lost in the maze. If we create our own little experiences, that's why I keep pushing people to video games, is that you can craft your own experiences, you can design your own. But we can do it for anything that is just us, in our own castle, in our own bubble, in our own home. And we can start modifying things that just us. Do you guys get it? There's no variable that we don't control. There's no random variable that we don't control. There's no other. Because what you guys are going to realize is that there's other people present. You can't do this. You can't create experiences our way if there's disruptions present. And disruptions are other people. Disruptions are other people. Disruptions are other people. And info that you don't control. So anything random. So video game developers, stop creating roguelites. Stop. I mean, random things are not the way anymore. They caught on. They caught on. They craft the experiences that they want so that people get the lessons when they intend to. And that can be valuable at times, but do you guys get it? At times. Now it's just become the way. So everyone is just doing it. So they are now choosing exactly when we all learn and experience the lesson that they want us to. So if I want to make sure that you never learn something, I can prevent it. If you let me randomly generate things for you, well, what randomly generates things, guys? I can make sure that I don't generate specific things that I don't want you to learn, and only generate specific things that I want you to believe or learn. Think about that one, guys. So, strategic modification is the way, because we can always respond to everything. We can modify, and then we can see when progress actually happens. We can just obviously tell that we are doing something well, that our way of thinking, our way of progressing, our way of walking, our way of exploring is paying off. And I've talked about it in my other streams, so this is all I'm going to say about that. I already talked about it a lot, but it was good. But I wanted to build it up because this leads me to actually this next part. And this next part is actually going to be sad. It's sad for me to talk about. That's why I even actually chose this song. It's called A Broken World. It's a song that plays when a group of rebels decided to take a risk and try to bring down the corporation that is basically, think of it like they're interacting with an AI, but it's really an alien parasite comet that can mind control people by presenting them negatives. And she took over a vessel that now is being used as an indicator of darkness and hatred, the Dark Angel, Sephiroth, and insecurity and fear. Anyway, so they're trying to bring down this corporation, and they make a plan to actually like infiltrate. And when they do, the corporation responds. And when they respond, they decide to think of it like there's like a slum. Think of it like there's quadrants in a big city, a metropolis, and they decide to destroy one of the quadrants where the rebel group is located as punishment for them interfering, because they had been responding strategically to things up to that point, but they took a risk and they tried to defend the tower that was like propping up the entire quadrant of that city. But in the process of defending it, they lost 3 or 4 of their members, and they were a small group of like 7. So you guys see, like, they literally had 4 people die because of their actions. And when that happens, the rebel leader is just punching the wall, yelling, "Why? Why does it have to be this way?" And that's what happens when you take a risk. That's what happens when modifications are allowed. What if they never had the chance to respond to what the corporation was doing? Because they got new rebel members that really changed the game for them. What if they never got them? Do you guys get it? And they had to just rely on what their old tactics and methods. The story would have never escalated. Anyway, so I just shared that because that's the reason for the song. It really is just they took a risk and it backfired horribly. They lost everything that they were fighting for, and they haven't made more progress. If anything, they've reverted. And that's kind of how I feel, because you guys see like how excited I got about talking about the strategic modifications and hey, what can we modify, and creating our own experiences, and hey, I unplugged, I should only be feeling great, and I figured all this knowledge out. Like, I know exactly how to respond to everything they do. Yet I was getting corrupted again, and I was like, how are they doing it? Through the very same things that break us free and cure us. So, in the elementary version of that, so let's say for people, if you actually like start healing people around you or helping them, they use that to corrupt you then, because they keep it out of reach, they prevent it, or they use them then to cause conflict or stuff like that. So that one's easy, you know. Like I always knew that. Just so you guys know, I always knew that they use the things that we use to heal, to overcome, to defeat them. They weaponize them. Just so everyone understands, it didn't used to be this way, but it seems like they catch on. It's like as I'm evolving, they evolve. They're learning. That's what's terrifying about this, is that they're learning. Because if it was fixed, guys, do you understand? Like, this is why, like, I think the majority of people, they give up on. They're like, wow, no one else is even evolving anymore. Because I'm telling you guys, when I was they had destroyed me through like common problems, drama. Like, if any of those things are real, like if any personal thing is a bother around you, do you guys get it? Like, you're level 1 and it's fine. We all were there at some point. It's all irrelevant, because now you know they can just put stupidity in people's heads and they say it and make them do things. If they're not healed, if they're not light, that's all it is, guys. Do you guys get it? It means that every bad thing that happens, every thing that gets set up, it's just they don't know how to defeat the things that get put into their head. That's it. So once you understand that, it solves all that one. See, so it's easy. But once I realized, like, wow, they really do weaponize whatever we use to fight back. Because I'm like, it defeats reliance, it defeats external. You don't need praise, you don't need money, you don't need tools, you don't care about the outcome anymore, you don't care about the reward. It's about the exploration, it's about creating your own experience, about creating your own limits, making things more challenging, doing all this stuff. I'm like, and balance isn't even possible anymore, so I'm like, I'm not too worried about that. Like, I'll even make things a little easier here and there. Like, I'm not gonna get corrupted over like having to make it way too challenging, because that's one they had targeted before. Because once I gave up on balance, I'm like, that's another one of my streams. Balance is not possible. I was like, once I realized balance is not possible anymore, I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I realized all those things. I'm like, what are they doing? I'm like, they've weaponized strategic modifications. Because think about it like this, guys. That story that I said about like, hey, well, that bird that poisons you, that either adds to your age or lowers your health, whatever makes more sense to you, and then does other attacks, and the whole point is the poison is just to get you into a lethal point where you can then get one shot, or the next attack actually is lethal. That's what it is. So in that example, do you guys see, like, not curing the poison creates options? Well, what can I do to help counteract it in some ways, or change the encounter in other ways, so that I can overcome it? Otherwise, am I really going to just have to execute perfectly and not get hit at all once the poison gets me to 99 or 1 health? It's possible, but you guys see then that's extremely challenging. So what I realized that when that situation happens, well, you start exploring. You start creating your own limits. Every time you lose because of the poison, you didn't heal it, and you're like, this is actually really fun, but it adds things here. You see, you guys start modifying things. So you're like, well, I can add some the animal that adds it slows down the poison so that I have more time, and this other thing like added like poison resistance, so I took significantly less damage. So you see, those are the 2 options that you did, and they worked, and they made it really fun. They made it really challenging. You had to then now interact with all the mechanics of something in whatever you guys are exploring, and it's challenging. It's fun. It's a great experience. It's memorable. Maybe you even added your own music or whatever, and it's awesome. I realized if you get to this level, because this is level 3 now, is they caught on. Because all of a sudden, let's say you choose those 2 poison things, and maybe you're losing, or maybe you don't even lose. That's the worst part. It's either one. And all of a sudden, while you're doing this, mental thoughts are populating into your head. Force inserted, just so people understand. They just go. And when you're doing that, what they're spamming you with is suggestions. Because normally people are like, yeah, don't listen to suggestions. That's easy. If there's people around you, you're like, well, hey, we're just not going to talk, or I'm just going to move away from people, or I'm not going to go on websites or things like that have suggestions. And you see, like, that's easy. What are you supposed to do if it's just being force inserted into your head? Well, it's easy if it's a negative. Do you guys get it? If it's a negative, you're like, not going to listen. Every time it's a negative or like a personal thing from your past, you're like, yep, I know it's all of you guys, not going to listen, not going to listen. But what if all of a sudden they're like, well, have you considered using, there's like this fire sword that you could use. And if you use it, actually, it kind of like makes the poison explode. And then there's like some smoke, and then the smoke like makes your character like cough a little bit. But the bird actually can't see you anymore then. So you won't get attacked anymore by it. I'm like, whoa, that's actually a really interesting thought. I'm like, that's a really interesting thought. I'm like, could that actually work? And then you're making you're like, who knows? And you're making progress, and all of a sudden, while you're like making progress, it's like, you're making this too easy. Having this much poison resistance, the animal that slows things down, and it's this basically using the antidote. And you're like, it actually kind of is true. I'm basically ignoring the poison now because I added all that. Maybe I could do it without the poison resistance, but I can still have the animal that slows things down. I'm like, okay. You see, like, then you might even just be like, oh, let's retry. You might not have even lost. You might just choose to lose because you're like, yeah, let's do it too easy. Like, I don't know why I was making that too easy. Like, I can learn more. I can experience more. It's like, okay. And then you're like, okay, you know what? Let's try that fire sword thing. That was actually a really good idea. So now, think about it. You had something that was working. You had a path that was good. But you guys see, like, it's not, they didn't present to you the answer, which is use the antidote. But they made you feel like you were using the antidote. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? So all of a sudden, you're like, but I'm not using the antidote. Like, there is an easier option, and I'm not using that. But they make us forget that in that moment. Because they are spamming these suggestions that are strategic modifications that are actually not bad. But you're like, do I really need to change it? I'm like, well, I don't know. I guess, maybe. So, all of a sudden, you try the fire sword thing. And it doesn't. You like lose immediately. You're like, oh my gosh! I'm like, that was really bad. I'm like, it's because I got rid of the poison thing. I got rid of the poison resist. That's why I died. Maybe I should add that back in again. But if I add the poison resist, I can't have the fire sword as powerful. I want to try the fire sword at full power, but I lost again. And I'm like, hold on. Let's add the poison resist in again, but let's try the fire sword without full power. All right. I'm going to start making some progress, but think about it. Now we have both the poison stuff again that we had before, but we just added in the fire sword for some reason. But now the entire time we're trying the fire sword approach. We're like, okay, I'm gonna try fire sword. To try to do the poison explosion to create the smoke. That's all our focus is. Do you guys get it? All our focus is. Get 10, 20 2 attempts before that. We didn't even know about the fire sword or think about the fire sword or consider the fire sword. Yet now this is all our focus. And we're like, fire sword. And we get the poison explosion thing and the smoke thing. It's like, whoa, it worked. I'm like, whoa, it worked. Whoa, that's awesome. But then we die. And we're like, it's okay. We messed up or something. And it's fine. But like, that was awesome. Now we believe. We feel great. They're like, yeah, but you only got that far because of the poison thing. You should get rid of that. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. We don't need the poison thing. That makes it too easy. So we get rid of the poison thing then now. And then you're like, you know what? We don't even need any of the poison thing now. The smoke thing works. The fire sword with the poison, the smoke, that works. I know it does. It does. I saw it. It does. So all of a sudden, you power up the fire sword thing. And you're like, let's do this. Remember, you got rid of both poisons. Now you're doing it. And you're getting it. But the poison is going down fast. Like, whoa, but hey, we don't have to worry. We'll have 1 HP. But the smoke from the fire poison is going to protect us. Because now the fire sword is more powerful, so that we have even more smoke around us. Like, and like, the bird can't hit us. This is awesome. And we're at 1 HP. We're at 99 age, and we're just like, whoa. And then all of a sudden, we forgot that there was a later part in the fight that has like this other mechanic, and it completely ignores the smoke, and we just die. We're like, what? I'm like, no. I'm like, let's try again. And now we try again, and then now our focus is on what we lost to. Now our focus is on what we lost to, and we're getting suggestions. It's like, I believe it was like an ice attack or something that we can't dodge. So maybe we should have like something that like gives us cold resistance. Like think people like wearing a sweater. So maybe we should change our setup to have like more sweater, more cold resistance. I'm like, okay, yeah, that, because then we'll be good. It'll lower the damage. But we forgot we were at 1 HP because of the poison. You can see like we can't even think about that anymore because we're getting all these suggestions. Like a new problem happened, a new thing made us lose, and then we got suggested the solution. Like, well, what can we modify? Like, you guys see like they're suggesting it. They're suggesting like, what can we modify? What can we modify? But then all of a sudden, we're trying this time, and we're focused on the ice thing. We already now think about it, now we have the fire sword and we have the ice thing. Think about how much our setup has changed, and we're trying, and we're making some progress. And all of a sudden, what we're doing is just like, this is just too easy. Look how easily you're overcoming everything now, because the fire sword with the poison and smoke completely trivializes this. And then you even added the ice. That's just, you're not gonna have to deal with that at the end. Like, now you're not gonna have to even deal with the fight at the end. Like all those things, you're just completely ignoring everything. So what if you just added in the poison again, but got rid of like the ice thing, or maybe like, actually, you know what? The fire sword, you use that against like this dragon beast, earth monster. You should use something new, because Why would you keep reusing the same things, right? You should experience new things. So, yeah, don't use the fire sword anymore. Like, come on, you already used that. Use something different. You already mastered the fire sword. Use something that you haven't learned yet. Because you should always be exploring and learning new. And this is literally happening while you're attempting something, or right after you lost. Those are the two options, or fail at something. So then you're like, well, I could modify that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. The fire sword, I already did learn that. Like, what else could I use? But is there like another fire weapon? I'm like, oh, there's like a fire spear or a fire lance. Ooh, Hanabi. And you're like, yeah, that one's not bad. Actually, maybe I haven't tried healing as much. Maybe I don't use the antidotes, but there's things that think of it like there's like little berries. Think of like a gummy bear. Every time you eat a gummy bear, you get your age reduces by like 10. So you go from 99 to 89. So our health goes up by 10. So 1 to 11. I'm like, I won't cure the poison with the antidote, but what if I just heal? It's going to make me use a lot of healing. It's going to make me use a lot of healing. Because you see, like, once you learn how to create your own encounters or your own experiences, your own limitations and your own challenges, strategic modifications, you can create anything, guys, from almost something. By just not solving one thing, using the guaranteed solution, you can then create a million variables that help you learn lessons. So then I'm like, oh, well, this time I can learn a lesson of how can I heal through the poison? Well, this time I can learn a lesson through how can I do this? Well, this time I can learn a lesson through how can I do this? And maybe that's the answer, but I'm like, is it? What you're going to realize is that you can then you get beta to excess. You can just keep going. You can just keep going. And you can just keep going. And I'm like, well, this time I'm going to now heal through it. And you're like, wait a minute. 30 attempts ago, we just had the 2 poison things. And we were at the end of the encounter. And it was extremely challenging, but it was fun. And we were learning. And now, sure, we learned new things and we tried different things. But I'm like, well, you guys are going to realize that then we're doing the healing thing. And we got rid of the poison system. We got rid of the fire sword. Now we're learning new things. So you guys, what that means is every time we change something, it means we have to relearn the encounter. The progression begins again. Now, if they have similarities, we might not have to learn as much. Do you guys understand? But when we start modifying things, we start having to relearn. We start having to re-explore because a variable might interact differently with things. The fire sword interacts differently than the poison resistance. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? The antidote operates differently than a gummy bear that heals us. The antidote just removes the poison. The gummy bear helps heal the poison so that it doesn't defeat us right away. Each of those things changes the story, changes the encounter, and that's life. But what happens is once you take that approach of strategic modifications, it's the answer to everything, guys. Then all of a sudden, you guys are going to realize is that as you're doing, they start bombarding you with, well, you should modify this, you should try this, you should do this. And you're like, but wait, why? Like, what? Like, but it's fun. Yeah, you're right. It's cool. I'm like, wow. So you get to experience the same thing like 10 different ways, and they're all valuable and valid. And it is, but then you're like, but why do I need to do so much? And it's still fun. And it is at first. But what's going to happen, guys, is that then you start losing. Then you start losing. Then you start making less progress. Then now all of a sudden, you guys don't, or like something doesn't work anymore. Something breaks. So to do a quick little interrupt deviations, like for creation, for design, I think we're like, I'm designing a video game. But for anything, for my stream, for music, for stories, for things that we are writing, what ends up happening, guys, is that all of a sudden, something tells you, try this. Something tells you, try this. Something tells you, try this. Or something tells you, this is darkness. Something tells you, this is bad. Something tells you, this is the easy path. Something tells you, this is the light path. And what are you supposed to do then, guys? Do you understand? Like, it causes doubt. if any of you are doing anything, if I just observe or watch your day to day right now, guys, all of you, and I just, let's say all of you guys are just like posting posts on LinkedIn or like on hot girl pictures on Instagram, and I just say something to you guys, and I'm like, this is darkness, this is light. It might actually be like, wait, you might actually ask yourself, wait, is it? Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? Is that they start doing that to us mentally, regardless if it is or not. It's irrelevant what they have to say or what they think, but it doesn't feel that way because it gets inserted directly into our head, and like, this is darkness, this is light. And you're like, no, I mean, I guess I am kind of rushing. I am not exploring as much as I used to. Do you guys see that? They put that doubt in us directly, because it doesn't mean that there might not be a little bit of a seed there. You're right. Like, do you guys see, like, I'm like, yeah, I am actually making things a little easier right now. You're right. But you see, like, now we start getting on a path of almost like feeling like needing to justify, to like fight back, to like be like, no, you're wrong. I'm like, I do it my way. Like, this is my way. They're like, yeah, but you made things so much easier. You never used to do that before. You never relied on. Yeah, I kind of did, huh? No, you're wrong. Nope, I didn't. I knew exactly what I did. You see, like, but it still forces us to pause and respond and react. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? Is that it's beyond broken. Like, there's no counter to it. There's nothing you can do, because if you just say, fuck you, you're all wrong, I'm not going to listen to anything you say, which is the correct answer. But you still have to deal with the insertions. So then you guys get, if you take that approach where you're like, anything you guys suggest is bad, anything you guys suggest is evil, you guys are all the problem, If I'm just literally like designing something, creating something, and they're like, well, you should create this, doesn't matter if it's a good or bad idea, you're going to be like, fuck you. But you might be like, oh, I'm not going to get. And you know that they always try to bait you to excess because it changes your lens. That's how I started the stream, but it changes your lens. So if I keep only designing games, if I keep only spending time there, if I keep only creating music, do you guys get it? That means that now whenever I hear music, I'm going to listen to it as a music creator. I'm like, oh, they use that instrument, they use that instrument, versus just experiencing the song as, right now I'm experiencing as the narrative, the story that I painted for you guys earlier, the rebel group that suffered losses. And it's a broken world now for them. Do you guys see, like, if we get baited down a path of excess, it actually changes our lens. Even just how I interpret this song right now. I'm telling you guys, if I, after this, create music, and I re-listen to this song, I'm going to interpret it and I create music, let's say 2 days in a row, I'm going to listen to it, I'm like, oh, listen to the instruments, listen to this, listen to that. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? So it's not harmless when they're spamming their suggestions. It's not harmless at all. You have to deal with it. And if you choose to ignore it, then you're like, I don't even know what to do. And you have to just trust yourself. You have to just believe in yourself. But imagine if there's something always sitting on your shoulder telling you, like, you're gonna mess up this time, or it doesn't matter if you can completely defeat it and ignore it. It's always present and it's always doing that. Like, it's gonna affect you even 1%. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? No matter what you do. I'm telling you, I completely have negated it, 100%. But it also now makes me, I said this so many times recently, I'm like, my sole purpose now is to destroy every single thing that they try to build. Any storyline that I know that they're trying to create, anything that they're trying to suggest, anything they're trying to push, I now spend every second trying to destroy whatever that is. They don't deserve to have a story anymore through me. They don't deserve to have a reality anymore. They don't deserve anything. But look at that. You saw that, guys? That's what happens. Because then I get angry. I get mad because I know they are ruining every single thing that I'm trying to do. So I want to ruin them back by preventing everything. Do you guys see how they start corrupting it through that? Because they're just spamming all these suggestions, and I'm saying, I'm like, I just want to play my games. I just want to design my video games. I just want to create music. I just want to write stories. I just want to stream. I just want to Listen, you guys get it? I don't want any interruptions. I don't want any suggestions. I don't need them. They're completely useless. They're irrelevant. They're worthless. I don't need them. So I'm telling you guys, when you get to that point, the way they weaponize it is if there's modifications that are available, because you're choosing to make things more challenging, or you're choosing to not use the answer, and now there's doors that present because of that. I'm telling you guys, it's just simple as if you could use money to solve everything and you don't, now there's 20 doors that open because of that. Well, now they use those, they weaponize that, because that was the solution before, but now they caught on. They caught on. It's so fucking sad. It's horrific. It's actually depressing, and I hate terms, but it really is. It's so fucking sad because it makes me dark. It pisses me off. It makes me mad. I literally am living now to just suppress them and ruin every story they're trying, but they're just doing the same thing to me. So it's just this never-ending war. It's just sad, and it's just because they need to have their stories, they need to have their way, and since I'm not doing that anymore, they now just choose to ruin everything. It's just that simple. They ruin every single thing, guys. Doesn't matter what it is, and I can heal it. I'm such a good healer now that I can heal everything they ruin within days. It doesn't matter anymore. Before, what would be destroyed for years, I can now heal within a day. You guys get it? It's fucking hilarious. But still, think about that. They force me to heal something that they are destroying and corrupting. I have to respond to their bullshit. And it's because of my own methodology that I created that lets me learn any lessons, lets me develop anything, that lets me experience anything and create anything without them having to present the situations. Because that's, I think, what pisses them off more than anything. Because up to now, the way every story that gets written in this world happens because they present the variables so that it happens the way they want, when they want. So we experience the lessons when they want, and we get the victories and the failures when they want. I'm telling you guys, every victory or failure, until you break free and heal and learn what's them and what's not, is 100% guaranteed and predetermined. So that means if you guys are attaching your worth to a victory that you've had preemptively before you break free and heal, it means that it's just, they made that happen, and they want that intention so that you define yourself by that, so then they can either continue to make you more of that or to destroy you through that. It's just that simple, guys. So I realized all that, and I'm telling you guys, the answer is strategic modifications, because then there's nothing they can do. There's no mistakes. There's just only exploration. You want to learn. You make things more challenging. You know, also, you don't always have to. You make your own experience, because at any point you can, what I call, nerf it. You can, oh, I put this limit on myself. You know what? I can now remove that limit. But I'm telling you guys, now, since we learned how to do that, now what they do is they're going to start putting suggestions like, ooh, why would you, what? You're someone who knows how to make strategic modifications. Why would you remove that limit now? Why would you make it easier? No, don't make it that easy. Instead, how about, instead of, you usually drink 2 glasses of water, how about you only drink 1.5? You don't have to get rid of both glasses of water. Just drink 1.5. And that'll open up so many new doors for strategic modifications that you can do, because that extra 0.5 water really makes a big difference. And you're like, because you know things. Do you guys understand? You now know things. You're trained. You're learned. You're a master. You see things, the vision. You understand the vision. That means that you can see how things are. Like, yeah, actually, you're right. If I drink 0.5 less water, it causes these things. I'm like, that would cause the... Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? So then, because now there's modifications available to us, we're now at risk of corruption. Because what would they do, guys, if I couldn't modify anything? If I had to use the poison resist and I had to have the pet, that slows down the poison. Well, there's nothing they could do. Do you guys get it? Because they could then, the only solution that they would try to do is be like, well, the answer is you're supposed to use the antidote. But you guys see, like, now they can't suggest, well, hey, why don't you use the water, or why don't you use the fire sword, or why don't you use the... Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? Is that if there was no more modifications allowed anymore, they couldn't do anything. They're like, you're making it too easy. I'm like, I can't change it. This is just how it is. They're like, well, you now can't use, like, you can't even walk. You can't put shoes on. I'm like, okay. But you see, what if you're like, no, I just, there's no modifications allowed. I'm telling you guys, is that once you defeat them, and once you defeat all the stages that I talked about, right? The first, the lies they put into our heads, then you heal, then you never want to tolerate it again, anything, because you now know what you're capable of. You got quiet, you unplugged. You now know what's false and what's not. You don't care about external. You don't care about the solution, the answer that they crafted for us, not what actually is. Because you realize, hey, wait, if I can get to the yellow dot, the girl with the yellow bikini, the hat, the white dress, and the black dress, and the purple dress, without money, then actually isn't the solution or the answer. It's one that they made to be the solution and the answer. I can make something be the antidote even if it's not. Do you guys get it? So I'm like, wait, if I didn't need it, that means that it's not the solution. It's a option. It's a strategic option, but it actually isn't. It was made to be the be all end all. Okay, guys? So if there's no strategic modification available anymore, well then at all. If you decide, I guess what I'm leading up to is, what I realize is that we make one strategic modification or so, and then we just say, F it. That's all there is. They can't do more. We can't modify more. We can't explore more. We can't encounter more. We can't try to learn more. We can't try to evolve more. We can't try to push the limits more. It's the end. Do you guys understand? And it's not because I want it to be that. On the contrary, I think that you can keep pushing the limits. I think that you can keep exploring. I think you can create so many lessons and so many stories and so many encounters, and I know that they even now know them because they're the ones suggesting a lot of them to me. And some of them are great suggestions, but then I'm telling you guys, is that then they just keep you going, and they 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 keep you going, and then they bring you back, and they bring you back, and they go teleport you over here, then they teleport you here, and all suggestions. Then you're focusing on different things, and then you start making mistakes, and then one thing starts breaking, and then another thing doesn't work, and then you all of a sudden are like, okay, let's see if it works, and then like, what? Nothing works. You're like, and then you get mad, and you get frustrated, and then all of a sudden problems start happening, and then you start getting corrupted, and then telling you, then things start populating in your head more, so you're like, no, and you can't even think anymore, and then you start getting back, so then you start recognizing, it's like, I know it's all of you, and then it's just frustration builds, and anger builds, and darkness starts, and before you know it, all of a sudden, you're getting corrupted, and you might actually consider, like, you know what, that's it, we're just gonna wait, we need to move on, we need to get past this part. Like, this is really bad. Like, I know I'm not going to use the solution, the answer completely, but I'm going to add some of the things that I know are going to let me win. Like, I can't deal with this anymore. Like, this is really bad. And what you guys are going to realize is that you had almost accomplished something, like with the poison resistance and the pet, right? That slows things down. But they deviated us, all of us. And all of a sudden, we're like, well, now I need this, and 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 now I need this. And it only happens because we allowed for modifications. I'm telling you guys, if you create a set thing and then you never deviate anymore from the modifications, like, in one way it's sad because you're not exploring what something could be, that, like, what it could be achieved, what could be achieved, what could be learned, what kind of story, what kind of design. But I'm telling you guys, it's their current ins are things that they use as sources to corrupt us or present path starters to get us to do things or to feel a certain way. And I'm telling you guys is that they've caught on and they've weaponized modifications. And I now believe that, I thought that this just happens when people heal and break free and get to the state where I am. And I'm like, now I realize it's not. It happens to everyone, because any creation that people are doing, what do we end up doing? We end up showing it to people for like feedback, or like to play test, or to like reviews, or things of that nature, or even just like executives or leaders or friends or family or anything of that nature, but even just ourselves. And when we're doing it ourselves, that's when you can test it. All of a sudden it's like, that part's too simple, that part's too difficult, that part's too this, that part too that. And I'm saying, guys, we can't trust that anymore. It's just, we shouldn't trust that, because it's what they use to cause modifications. If we just create, think of it like this, if you just create something. This is why, like, I'm streaming right now, because do you guys understand? I can't go back and edit this. I can't go back and change my approach. The beginning, I had to get the darkness out. I was very dark, but I had to let it out. I did it in a great way. I'm proud of myself. But do you guys understand that most people would never feel comfortable doing that? And they would have, let's say, used like a tool, like a Descript, or like anything that you use as a video recorder to record yourself. And you can do a talk, and you're just talking, and you talk, and you talk. And the first part, you're like, I was way too dark and consumed. And you know what? I'm going to edit all that out, and I'm going to start it from the 1 hour point. That's where I could tell that I let out the darkness. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Is that there's a modification that's being allowed then. And that is actually the beginning of the source of corruption. I never realized it before. Is modifications, is editing things, is modifying things. That is where the source of corruption begins, because then optimal presents, then doubt presents. I think about it in everything. Like, for anyone who knows video game terminology, it's called respecs. Being able to reset certain things. Think about it, guys. If in your home, like, you could reset certain areas once a day. For most of you guys, you might conceptualize it through cleaning. But like, imagine if like you could reorganize how you set up your furniture every day. Magically, you don't even have to put in any effort to do so. You're like, well, if I could do that, I could test it every single day and see which is the most optimal path, right? Yeah, that's what a respec is in a video game. You can do that, and you can explore different areas like that and different paths. But what you guys are gonna realize is the moment that option is available, is that optimal starts getting created, because you're like, well, it doesn't really matter then what I do. Let's try this. Let's go full points in this area. All right, reset. Now let's go full points in this area, reset. Full points in this area, reset. Full points in this area, reset. What it does is start making us want to use the best things, starts making us want to use the optimal things, starts making us want to use the fast solutions, the answers. We don't actually want to explore the other things as much, because you guys see it doesn't make the journey, it doesn't make the climb, it doesn't make a path of exploration be like, well, why would we even use this? There's no reason to use this. It does less damage, or it has less numbers, or this couch isn't as comfortable, or this chair isn't as nice. Or you guys understand what I'm trying to say? Is that once the modification is present and is allowed, that then it's the root, it's the seed that allows the corruptions. Now the main one is really the answer that they craft, that they that's the real problem. Do you guys understand? Money, AI, or what the antidote, right? In the poison bird encounter. That's literally how they do it, guys. You understand? That is actually the source of the corruption. But if you defeat that and understand you have to create your own experiences and your own strategic modifications, there are no mistakes. You don't listen to anything. No reinforcement. Reinforcement doesn't matter. Anything external reinforcement doesn't matter. Anything that's random, that presents paths to you, information, doesn't matter, right? Once you defeat all that, you're safe. But I'm telling you guys, they caught on. And they make us believe we have to modify things. Like I really, I'm going to start developing my video game further, and I'm gonna start actually just creating like this, like just like if you hit new game, like think of like you just start a movie and you start the intro and you just go, okay? Or like you start writing a book. I'm saying, guys, the way the world needs to start operating, the way the world will start operating is that the moment we create something, we just keep going. And so I make the intro, let's say a week from now or 2 days from now, and I create the story, and I map and design, graphic design some like a forest area or something, and then that's that. And I can't go back and modify it anymore. I just have to move forward, and it's now still a permanent part of my game or my story or my stream or whatever. Do you guys understand? I can't go back and delete it. I can't go back and erase it. I can't go back and edit it or modify it. It is what it is, and I just keep going. What you guys are going to realize then is that the corruption is then removed. There's no ants, because what you guys are going to realize is that there's progression that happens as we start walking forward, as we start climbing, as we start continuing our journey. We learn more, and we're like, oh my gosh, like if you, let's say I'm now playing my game at the beginning, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm like, I'm such a noob here. I didn't know this, I didn't know that. I'm like, wow, I created these puzzles or these things like this. I didn't use switches, I didn't use variables, I didn't use conditional branches. I'm like, wow, I didn't know as much back here. We see that, and sometimes we might be like, oh, but if we understand that we just kept going, well then it is what it is. Do you guys understand? Then there's no corruption there anymore, because we're not. But if we allow ourselves to go back and we're like, well, let's re-edit the intro now, and remodify everything, we might like change the entire map. We might update the entire beginning segment. We might do you guys get what I'm trying to say? Like, I think about every single creation in this world right now, every single design, every single artistic thing, every single thing that has any creativity. I'm like, everyone is getting baited by this. Every single one of us. We all get baited to remodify like the beginning, the middle parts, or like help people rush to the end. And I'm like, guys, it doesn't matter anymore. Like, it is what it is. People should experience the whole thing, because what ends up happening is that if you go back and modify the beginning with your new knowledge and your new lessons, that it's not the same, because it got built up. Do you guys understand? Like, it's a journey. Everything got built up. It's a journey. So if all of a sudden you go back and start implementing some things in the beginning there, like, it's like, wait, there's like knowledge that's more advanced here than here, because you didn't modify this part, but you modified this part, and like it doesn't flow as well, and people don't understand it. But if for the designer, for the creator, they're happy, they're proud about it, because they're like, yeah, this part's good. But do you guys understand that it ruins experience for the new people? They don't learn the same lessons anymore, because you took away some of the lessons that they would have had to learn, because they would have been learning alongside you as you're creating or developing if you would have done that. Do you guys understand? If you start from the beginning like that, they did the whole climb with you. Every single one of them. Every single game that, like, I think about, like, so many of them just go back and modify the beginning, and they remove the climb and the lessons from anyone who's going to experience it next, new. And they keep making it easier and simplified. And I'm saying it's intentional, guys, by the forces that control this world, that populate the negative thoughts in our heads and the personal reminders from our past to enslave us. I'm telling you guys, it's intentional, because what ends up happening then is that we keep doubting our efforts, our work, our creations, our way, our methods, and they do that intentionally by always suggesting more. You could do better, you can improve the graphics here, you can do that, you can modify this, or why haven't you tried this, you haven't do this. So there's two solutions that happen in that case, or there's three things that happen. One, we get corrupted, we get dark, we just say, I don't know, or we then, a lot of times when that happens, we then resort to the solution or the answer, right? So like money or AI. So in that case, many of you guys resort to, hey, can we just like randomly generate something through AI? Like, it can make it pretty good. We can cover more stuff like that, and then we don't have to worry. Then we don't have to worry anymore. We don't have to worry or grade ourselves if we just let something else decide for us. Do you guys get it? If we let something else decide for us, we remove that. I think what everyone's going through is this, where it's like we get bombarded by that and we get doubt and we don't know what to feel because they're attacking our strategic modifications. They're encouraging more, but they're also saying too easy, too bad, to this, to that. So then if we just give up our authority to like a tool or other people, so like, well, I'm just going to present it to the executive and they can decide. I don't even care anymore. Well, then they do, but do you guys see it ruins it? It's the solution to the answer, but it ruins it. Or you just let AI do it, or you just choose, let's just do the randomly generated stuff. It makes it pretty good. It's not as good as a curated, crafted thing, but it's still pretty good. It is. Do you guys understand? It is. I'm not saying it's terrible. It's on the contrary. It's fun. But it's never going to be as good as if it was a crafted thing that we created all from the beginning. And we just kept moving forward. I look back at I think back to some of like my streams and some of my knowledge, and some of them I'm like, oh man, I should have just turned off the stream because they had corrupted me midstream because of the things that happened. And yet I kept fighting, and I'm proud of myself. And yet I showcased how to defeat it. And if anyone actually was going through, they could learn too. But imagine if I edited that out because I was worried about how it would appear or stuff like that. I could have done better. I could have. Do you guys understand? But now there's that knowledge is there permanently, that lesson and that reminder of how to solve those things because I didn't edit it out, because I didn't allow for modifications. And I'm saying allowing for modifications is extremely dangerous. It's not the way. It's sad though, right? Because I'm telling you guys, when I'm creating, when I'm designing things, I want to add more and more and more strategic modifications, and it lets us learn so much. They've caught on, and maybe they've always known, because now I'm really, I realize this is why everyone uses AI. This is why everyone goes to the solution. This is why everyone wants the antidote right away. This is why also people doubt their works and their efforts. But this is why design takes so much time for people. Like I'm telling you guys, I look at things around me that are designed, and most of them are designed really well, but I'm like, I know it took them years to make this. And I'm like, how is that possible? Now that I've been putting efforts into different areas, I'm like, how is that possible that it takes them that much time? And it's because they're getting bombarded with strategic modifications that they could do. And because of that, and I'm telling you guys, they haven't even eliminated the external one. Think about how much feedback and noise is being presented and voices. Every single individual human, if they're not healed and doesn't know this, they're all getting things put into their head about how they should modify a certain creation. Imagine if there's like 50 people all having that. Why do you think they try to limit it to only like 5-6 leaders? They do that intentionally, guys. But think about that. They all are going through that. Modifications shouldn't be allowed. We just create, move on. Whatever happens, happens. Lo que será, será. Whatever will be, will be. It's the answer. I'm telling you guys, I wish that it didn't have to be this way, because I know I'm gonna become more extreme about this now. But even like in my video games that I use just for fun, I'm like, I create my challenges, but many times I start modifying them mid-attempt or so, because I'm like, well, I can make this a little bit more challenging, I can do this. And I'm saying, guys, it's just not possible anymore. Because if you once you let it happen, once you allow the modifications to begin, I'm telling you guys, there's no coming back, because then they've infiltrated, and that's what they use to start corrupting you. And I'm telling you guys, for me, it's just, I just know I'm getting spammed with suggestions, and they're making me doubt, and they're making me feel bad, but something else present good. So then I'm just like, but then I know it's them, and then I want to fight them, and then I want to suppress them, and it's just, but for most of you, it's just, they make you doubt that it's good enough. That's really what it is. Or they make you doubt that it's too challenging, too complicated, or too simple, or something like that. Basically, for most of you, they just attack the actual result. They attack the outcome. For myself, when you're at my level, of figuring this stuff out, they attack the strategic options to say, hey, you could do more, you could have made this more, like you can modify even more things. But both of them are essentially the same concept, guys. Do you understand? It's just they create doubt within us, and now we're gonna rely on something, or we just want to move on, and we're just gonna be done with it. We're like, you know what, I just don't care anymore. And or like, think about it, guys. Like if your boss suppresses your way, and you're eventually just gonna be like, whatever, I'm just gonna design it like that, and who cares? That's how you guys want it. Fine. You see, it ruins all creation, it ruins everything that we try. And yeah, it's just it makes me just really sad, is really what this is, because I took so much pride in, I was like, this is the answer, creating my own experiences, my own solutions, my own challenges, and it still is. But now I realize they found a new way, or maybe they've always been doing this and I hadn't pieced it together, of how to corrupt myself and other people. And it's by allowing modifications. Here, that's a good one. I think of a video game, but anything that has difficulty selection, and Mass Effect, and you can change difficulty mid-game. I'm saying, guys, that you shouldn't allow that. It shouldn't be possible. It's just that simple. Because what's going to happen is that maybe the developer doesn't experience the corruption by giving that option, but the player, whoever's experiencing it, is going to experience corruption through that. The moment they can modify something to become easier, the moment they can modify something to become easier, corruption begins. If they can't, they just have to deal with it. Do you guys understand? They just have to overcome it. They then have to solve it with what it is. If you have to just solve it, then there's nothing you can do. I'm telling you guys, that's the answer. You can't allow for modifications. You just have to solve. How can we solve this? How can we figure this out? How can we solve all these problems without money? How can we solve all this stuff without likes, adoration, without AI? How can we solve it without the antidote? What strategic modifications can we do? You guys see, then the danger is my level, my world, which is we make things more challenging. We make things more challenging. We do the opposite of what happens to everyone else, right? Or they make it easier. We make it more challenging. So this is my version, guys, of I'm punching the wall. Why? Why does it have to be this way? Why? Why did we lose Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge? Why did we lose them for fighting back against the Shinra Corporation, letting them indoctrinate the world? Why? Why, just for exposing this knowledge, do we have to experience all this? I just want to modify things to create my own experiences. But you know what? Yeah, this world is broken. It really is. Because we should be rewarded for exploring these paths. We should be rewarded. And rewarded, not like, hey, here's money, here's praise, here's that, but like, hey, yes, we need more of this in this world. We need more of this in this world. Which means a reward would just be not getting attacked. Do you guys get it? But that's not the way the world is designed. And that one's a bitter pill to swallow. it's gonna modify things now for me. I'm going to embrace everything. I'm gonna still try so desperately to enjoy the design and explore and push limits, create modifications, strategic to make things more challenging. But once I find some kind of level where I'm like, I think it's doable, I'm not gonna allow any modifications anymore. And that part is gonna be a little sad because I know that I'm not gonna get the balance correct many times. And there's so many times that I've actually kept modifying. Think of like every time I like take away a little here, I cut one branch here and I add a leaf here. I'm like, ooh. Then I'm like, wait a minute, I could add 2 leaves and add half of that branch. Wow, that was like perfect. It made such an amazing story and encounter and stuff. And it made it so much fun. And I'm saying, guys, that part is I'm gonna slowly beat out of myself because it's how they've been corrupting me. It's sad because I know how good I am at balancing things and finding that point where I'm like, wow, this is really good. But knowing that I'm like, well, hold on, I could modify that a little more to make it a little bit more challenging or a little bit more fun or a little bit more like this. That is the root of all the problems. And it didn't used to be that way for myself. But I'm saying, guys, for most of you, it's don't use the solution, don't use the answer, and break all reliance. Don't modify your creations. Just keep moving forward. Not all of them are going to be as the way you know you can achieve, but that's part of the charm. Do you guys understand? And that's I guess what I have to take too for my balancing with my creations in video games is that some of them are not going to be Neb Maquette or those epic encounters in Octopath. That's just, it is what it is. We just have to move forward. But I really think that for you guys who create things, games, movies, music, books, just no going back and re-editing. Just literally, like think of it like, guys, like, hey, I just wrote a song today and we released it today. They're like, what? I'm like, something like that. Removing that variable is the way to go. I can't wait to see how much stuff gets, like every game should become, they call it live service, but I want to move away from that term because there's negative stuff attached to it, because usually it means that they're monetizing things through a paywall. I'm saying release your game, guys, and just update it every week, every day. Like as things get finished, release it. 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 Everything. Same with your books. Like, don't send it to editors. Don't send it to publishers. Don't do any of that. Just release it. Release it in the wild. Release it. Release it. Release it. Movies, literally, just as the moment that you film and whatever happens, that's it. That's it. Don't even worry too much about the script. Who cares? I'm sorry, editors. You're going to lose your jobs. You're going to have other skill set that you can be used for. I know you can, but they're not necessary, guys. It's not the right way. It's just not, because they use it to corrupt us. They use it to bait us towards the answers, the solutions. I'm telling you guys, I think they could have a place, but the way the world currently operates, it's dangerous. It's just not the solution. It's not. Just got to move forward. It makes things fun. I'm telling you guys, you design faster. I think you design better because you also now know, but people are like, well, won't I be now worried about getting it right? I'm like, if you just move forward regardless, you can't really spend a lot of time thinking about the previous thing because, hey, if tomorrow I'm going to create a new stream, I don't really have a lot of time to think about this stream anymore. Do you guys get it? Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? I can't. But if someone's like, well, oh, your stream 2 days ago was again, I'm like, well, I'm ready. Have you watched my latest stream? So I think about it like that for myself, because this is really just so people understand, this is where I'm going to end. What inspired all this is I needed to figure out how they were causing all these problems, because it was getting bad again. Like they were corrupting me through think my positives, and I just couldn't figure it out. And now I realized that it was this, and I needed to talk it through, because I'm like, do I just start choosing easy? Like, I'm telling you guys, that's really what I pieced together, what they were trying to make me do. Just so people know, they've been trying to make me go toward easy for so much time. Because think about it, with my skill set, with my knowledge, with what I'm capable of figuring out and piecing together, what could I do if I had the same tools, the same resources, the same answers that everyone else has? If I can accomplish this with 5%, if I have what everyone else has, which is 90%, and then there's some that have 95 to 100, what could I achieve if I'm achieving the same or more than them with 5? Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? It's not a brag. I'm just saying, this is, all of us have this in something in our life. But then they make us think that we need the tool, the resource, the solution, the answer. And because then if there's enough problems, right, you guys are just like, well, I don't want more problems. I'm just going to do that. And I can move forward. But you're not going to be satisfied. You're going to be corrupted. It's going to be a permanent reminder that you let them win. I just think about something, but I know I'm going to have to make them a little easier. Maybe not, but I'm just like, whatever. It is what it is. If I can't move on from that game, then that's it. Then I get stuck, and that's it. That's it. If I'll never be able to overcome it, then that's that. That's kind of weird to say. Do you guys get it? Because if you can make something easier to overcome it, and you choose not to, well, that's that. Do you guys understand? This is the level that we need to get to, because that's what inspired me to talk about this. I just realized, I'm like, things are bad. They're trying to make me lose my way of exploring, of creating modifications. They're trying to make me go easier, and going easier is fine, but then I just have to stay at that point, because if I go easier, what ended up happening was, then they're like, oh, look at that, you have to make things so easy now. I'm telling you guys, it never ends. It's even happening right now. Just the suggestions. It never ends. So even though I now figured it out, I'm telling you guys, it doesn't go away. It's not going to be easy. Because so many of us hope that when we solve something, when we figure something out, when we learn how the world operates, and that it's just going to be easier. And I'm saying, guys, it doesn't get easier. If anything, it gets more challenging, because now you recognize it, and now it's just this permanent doubt that gets presented, and you're like, why does it have to be this way? I'm just trying to learn and evolve and help and teach and guide and heal, and instead, this is now what I have to do. That's why, guys, I'm saying this world is now broken. My world is broken, and I don't interact in this world anymore. I don't care about this world anymore, and that's probably the worst thing that could ever have happened. I'm completely unplugged from it. And I don't think there's a worse punishment or insult or review that you can give the world than that. I've completely given up on the world. Completely. If that's not an indicator to the designers of this world that they failed, then I don't know what is. And I'm telling them that them attacking my strategic modifications has only broken things even more. But I'm not going to allow them to corrupt me anymore. Because you see, what I believe is that they just want to get me back. That's really what I believe. They just want me to get me back to playing the world narrative. To interact with the things that they've created, the tools that they've created, the resources that they've created, the monies that they've created, all that stuff. The approaches of how humans are supposed to live. And I refuse because of what they've done. But what I've realized, guys, is we can't allow them to modify things anymore. Because if we allow modifications, then corruption begins. Just gotta create and move forward. Whatever whatever thing that I create, whatever situation I design, I'm like, all right, that's that. And whatever, if they ever present suggestions, I'm like, I can't modify. I just can't, because I'm telling you guys what I noticed. This is it. This is where I'm going to. What I noticed is the moment I chose that, because when I focused on learning new things, I was protected. But then the suggestions popped up again, the modifications, and then I got consumed. The moment, because then I knew it was them, and I would get mad. I would fight back. But the moment I just said, you know what, guys, it doesn't matter. No modifications allowed. I can't change it anymore. This is how it's going to be. All of a sudden, things got quiet for myself. It doesn't matter that they were putting things into my head, because I'm like, they're like, hey, you should drink more water. I can't. That's that. I only had 2 waters. That's it. Hey, you should drink. Doesn't matter. There's no modifications that are allowed. I have to do this entire stream with what I had. I'm gonna end my stream here now. Now I'm gonna drink water. But they're like, no, you should drink more water now. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Do you guys get it? If there's no modifications allowed, it doesn't matter what gets presented anymore, because then you're protected from the corruption. You're not gonna use the solution. You're not gonna need an answer, because you create it so that you don't use the solution. You create your own challenges, your own limits, your own experiences, some wiggle room for strategic modifications. But then maybe you don't make it as ultimate challenging as you normally do, but you go from there. You're like, all right, well, this is it. This is the encounter that I created. This is the book, the movie, the video game, the song that I created, and that's that. The stream that I created, and that's that. And I can always look back if I want to, if I'm re-experiencing it. I'm like, oh, wow, that's where I was at. And that's that. No editing, no modifications. So, will knowing this make me not believe this world is broken? I don't know, guys, right? Because sometimes, like I told you, there are some days where I'm like, should I could literally spend like $2 on something and get more of an experience. But I believe that money is the root of all problems. So I don't even spend $1 on things anymore. Do you guys understand? I haven't spent a cent in forever, intentionally, because I believe it's the root of all problems. And if they can get me to start making modifications, do you guys understand? They're like, well, you added some here. Oh, what about if you add some here and that's? Do you guys understand how it's done? I've hammered it in enough. I'm somber. I'm kind of sad. I really am, because it's just knowing that my way is always going to be attacked. They're always going to try to use to corrupt everything that I do. I have all my methods, all of them, just so you guys know, all of them. But really my strategic modifications and creating my own experiences it's really sad. And now embracing the lo que será is powerful. Whatever will be, just create and move forward and accept no modifications. But just knowing what I've achieved before, when I did allow modifications for myself that were mine, I'm just like, there's some things that are going to be missed and lost out on that could have been even better. But will it balance out if we just keep moving forward and keep doing new? Maybe. We're going to progress a lot faster through things. Well, because we might get stuck as we make it too challenging. We're like, oh, can't change it anymore. But will it balance out, guys? I don't know. But I encourage all of you to join me in learning all this knowledge. Re-listen to this one, this entire path on how they corrupt us. And how to break free. Join me in fighting back against this broken world, against defeating the Dark Angel, Kuja, and Sephiroth. So what do you guys think now that you've heard all this? Will you allow for modifications? I'll see you guys another time.